A few of us could be in for a bit of bill shock. AEMO has just warned to expect a significant power price rise. At least 1 million households will see a 17.5% increase, some more, some less. Longer term, there are no immediate solutions on the horizon either. We are in the middle of a transition and it's not going to be smooth. Basically, fossil fuels, mostly coal, are exiting the system, and it's faster than anticipated. Renewables and battery storage need to make up the shortfall, but they're not quite ready. Transmission lines haven't been upgraded yet, and there's not enough investment in the pipeline. So how do we avoid blackouts and these huge price spikes? Well, AEMO, the people that run the electricity market, say about $320 billion needs to be invested by 2050. Trudy McIntosh joins us. This is a landmark report now. Trudy, let's talk about the price hike first of all. Who is being affected the most?
Laura, AGL customers, the latest to feel the heat when it comes to these power price increases. The energy giant has clarified this morning this will kick in the new financial year, but not crucially from July 1. They're going to wait until August the 1st. But that might be cold comfort to people facing these increases across the East Coast. You can look here at the map showing the increases on average of around 17.5% in New South Wales. In Queensland, an 18% increase. That amounts to around $300 a year on average extra. South Australia 8.5% and Victoria 5.6%. All of this at the same time today we've received this 30-year snapshot by the energy market operator known as AEMO. There's been a lot of focus on the power grid in the East Coast in the last few weeks with the concerns about load shedding and blackouts. Well, the answer from AEMO is to actually fast-track this transition to renewables. They argue that's the solution, predicting that we are going to see 2/3 of coal generation offline by 2030 and that we could see the whole grid run by renewables by as early as the early 2040s. In terms of renewable take-up, they argue there needs to be a massive surge in investment, 9 times the amount of wind and solar projects by 2050, 3 times the amount of storage and pumped hydro. Connecting these new renewable projects into the existing electricity grid is the next major hurdle here. AEMO argues there needs to be 10,000 kilometres of new power lines built in the country to connect these projects. It's a massive task, something like Sydney to Mumbai in terms of the distance of lines that need to be made. They've identified 5 key projects which they want governments to work on very quickly, including connecting up Snowy 2.0 and some interconnectors between the East Coast states. This is expected to cost around $13 billion. The head of AEMO this morning indicating that this will inevitably be passed on to customers.
Well, ultimately, costs are passed on to consumers, but what I'd say is that for the generation assets, we have 150 gigawatts of projects that are proposed to connect into the national electricity market. So the investment appetite is there, and the transmission projects, they actually return net benefits to consumers of $28 billion, and that's more than twice their investment.
AEMO argues it's not just large-scale renewables, but also household renewables that can actually make a difference. This is the take-up of solar panels on people's roofs that they're predicting by the middle of the century. At the moment, around 30% of houses have solar panels. In 10 years, they expect that'll be 50%. By the middle of the century, 65%. So 2/3 of households helping to power their own future, but also reduce the reliance, Laura, on the power grid.
Okay, a lot to get your head around there. Trudy, thanks so much.